So today's video we're doing top 10 strongest characters on Elbaf. And I know what you guys are thinking. Shouldn't I just do top 10 strongest characters in general? We're in the final saga. One Piece is about to end. Why do it in a specific arc? Well, One Piece is actually getting insane when it comes to power scaling. Wano, we had the pinnacle of power with Big Mom, Luffy, and Kaido. Them showing their strength was just complete and utter devastation. Then we went to Egghead Island where we had characters like Luffy, Kizaru, the Gorosei. These characters were overshadowing Rob Lucci, Zoro, Sanji, Jinbei. Like, there were some monsters on Egghead Island. So all I'm trying to say is Elbaf seems to be an arc early on, like we're relatively early on in this arc, but it seems to have some insane monsters, but they haven't really been fighting like that. So I thought, let me do my prediction on who I think is going to be the top 10 strongest in Elbaf before the combat actually starts. And if I'm wrong, I'll update it, guys. Don't worry, at the end of Elbaf I will update this list, but let's do it. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, turn on notification. Got some big videos planned. But yeah, top 10 strongest in Elbaf. Let's do that deep dive right now. Now before I do this deep dive, I have to mention honorable mention. First honorable mention is going to be Gonko. She's a holy knight. She has this cool arrow Dofu power that we've seen against Loki. Remind me of Imu. But yes, I do think that Gonku is not one of the strongest characters on the island. Then there's Saul. Saul surprised me with his armor haki punch that he used. But at the end of the day, I think there's giants that are stronger than Saul. And there's Frankie as well, who did relatively well against Sasaki. Of course, had some cool moments against Big Mom and Wano. Like, Frankie has had some cool moments. There's Nico Robin, who took out Black Maria, who's pretty strong. And Nico Robin is one of the stronger side pirates since she's joined the crew. And then of course there's Brook, and Brook helped on Nico Robin, but Brook is underrated. He had a Big Mom moment as well during Whole Cake Island. Brook has the underworld power. Like, Gonko's listened to his music for a reason. Brook is one of the stronger Straw Hat pirates. Then there's Ja Rule. Ja Rule's pretty old, and his brother got one-shotted by Kid Big Mom, but you have to understand, they're still the legendary giant pirates from back in the day, so I'll give respect to Ja Rule. And he survived this sword to his head. Then there's Hyruden, who's the captain of the new giant pirates. He's strong too as well, part of the Grand Fleet. So let's just get right into it. Number 10, I have Killingham. Yes, Killingham is this mythical Zoan Kirin that's been able to conjure up these insane monsters that are just completely powerful. Now, we haven't seen him take an L yet. He's casually just chilling with the Holy Knights. But the reason why I believe that Killingham is not as like top 5 and probably just top 10, like number 10 to be exact, is because his monsters got destroyed by Dory and Broggy in that crazy shot. Like, 3 of the monsters got destroyed by Dory and Broggy in one shot. The other monster got destroyed by the team of effort of the Giants. So 4 monsters are down. It seemingly looks like, yes, Killingham is strong. I think his powers are hacks, but there seems to be a weakness to his powers, and he's looking less and less strong as they get more highlighted. So I'll put him at number 10. I still think he's cool with his mythical zone, but I don't think he's number 1 strongest in Elbaf. He's at number 10. Number 9 is his fellow Holy Knight, which honestly I think has a really good chance of being one of these stronger Holy Knights, and that's Summers. And the reason why is because Summers has that cool Thor Delve fruit that has injured Saul, who's a pretty strong character in Elbaf. He injured Saul when Saul was trying to feed the kids. This Thorn power seems to be cool. He's talking about love. He seems like a Sanji villain. So Summers does look to be one of these stronger Holy Knights. And the fact that he's kind of like leading Gonko and Killingham since Shamrock left means he's probably one of the top tier Holy Knights. So Summers looks to be a legend too as well. Looks to be related to a Gorosei and of course St. Peter. So I think that Summers is one of the stronger Holy Knights. And number 9 is a safe spot for him. If I'm going to put the strongest Holy Knight so far, other than Shamrock, I gotta put Summers at 9. Number 8 is gonna be 2 characters, and that's Dory and Broggy. And Dory and Broggy, time and time again, have shown me that what happened at Little Garden was a mistake. What I mean by that is them getting defeated by Mr. 3. We're kind of like more so outsmarted by Mr. 3, because ever since then, they've destroyed a goldfish with their team of attack. Then they come out of nowhere and destroy Eustace Kid's pirate ship. Then they come out of nowhere and destroy these monsters summoned by Killingham. We know their bounty is 1.8 billion berries. We know they have the respect of the world government. And honestly, they look to be the strongest giants working for the Elbaf Island, because the other giant doesn't seemingly look to be trusted as much when it comes to Loki. So Dory and Broggy, their power is respected. And honestly, the fact that they commented on Joy Boy's hockey like that, they seemingly look to be a legendary force that's been fighting for 100 years straight, so they better be strong, guys. So yeah, I think number 8 is perfect for these guys. 2 people on 1 spot. Usually I don't do this, but I think Dorian Broggy deserves the exception. Number 7, I have Jinbei. Yes, you have to understand, there's a Yonko crew on Elbaf, and people are sleeping on the top commanders of the Yonko just because we've been seeing them for years when they weren't the top Yonko commanders on the crew. So Jinbei, who's a former warlord who fought Ace for 5 days, who took on a Kaino punch, who took a big mom punch, who defeated Who's Who. Yes, with relative ease. Who's Who, who's a character who has an ancient Zoan and has CP9 techniques. Yes, that's who Jinbei destroyed, an ancient Zoan like that. I think honestly Jinbei is one of the more underrated characters in the series, and he is a top young commander, part of these Straw Hat Pirates, and I think 6 is the perfect spot when it comes to the Elbaf. Sanji, the next strongest Straw Hat Pirate. You have to understand, Sanji is underrated as well because of his bounty being below Jinbei, but you have to understand, he took down Queen. Queen would be one of the in this top 10 list if he was here, guys. Queen is so strong, but he's so goofy that people don't really understand how strong he is, guys. First of all, Sanji has insane armor haki. He has the exoskeleton from Germa. He has the blue flames. Guys, this guy Sanji needs to be respected. He's so fast that he can go disappear and be invisible. The speed beats are just insane. He destroyed Kizaru's light beam and Admiral's light beam. Went up against some of the Gorosei. I think Sanji deserves some respect here. And I think number 6 is the perfect spot for Sanji, guys. Number 6 is the perfect spot for Sanji. So now that we're going into the top 5 territory, I gotta give my boy Roronoa Zoro the respect he deserves. Yes, Zoro has to be top 5 in the Elbaf arc. We already know Zoro's the second strongest Straw Hat Pirate. That's why I put him above Jinbei and Sanji. Just to say people don't get mad at me. Of course, Sanji fans are going to get mad, but they're relatively close, I think, Zoro and Sanji. But he took down King with that Kankazaki coding. That was super cool. He scarred Kaido on Wano. He defeated Rob Lucci on Egghead Island. Like, Zoro's stocks are up. He went and clashed with Venus Draw, the Gorosei. Like, Zoro's stocks have always been up. And him and Elbaf is not going to change. Yo, his stocks are up. I think Elbaf, by the end of Elbaf, I think Zoro is the one that I'm question mark. I think Zoro can end up like top 3, top 4 by the end of Elbaf. But right now, I want to give him top 5. Number 4 might get a lot of people angry, but I have Figureland Shamrock. I think Figureland Shamrock is the strongest Holy Knight we've seen so far. His father is Figureland Garland, who's a legend on God Valley and is now a Gorosei member. So you have to respect Figureland Shamrock when it comes to his powers and ability. He's a twin brother to Shanks. Shanks is the Yonko level guy who was insane conquers haki. He has a mythical Zoan Cerberus that had Loki on death's door, guys. So yeah, Shamrock hasn't even fought seriously yet, and he's confident against Loki too, knowing how strong Loki is that they want him on the Holy Knights. Number 3 is Scopper Gaban. Honestly, I think Scopper Gaban is very underrated because of his old age. But what we saw against Luffy and Zoro, the haki that was exuding when he was fighting Luffy, guys, Scopper Gaban is a legit monster. He's sensing insane haki, so we know his haki is insane. His lore of defending Roger against a bunch of pirates and being called the Mountain Eater. Just recently when he was on the ship with Dorian Bragi, he got more respect than Dorian Bragi. And look how strong I had Dorian Bragi on this list. So number 3 is Scopper Gaban. Think about this, yo. Rayleigh is incredibly powerful. He clashed with Kizaru pre-time skip. He stopped Blackbeard just from his reputation, though he did say Blackbeard would beat him. I think Rayleigh is Admiral level. So Scopper Gaban, I think he has to be Admiral level as well. And I think if you're Admiral level, you have to be top 3 in an arc. And Scopper Gaban is number 3 on this list. Now, number 2 is a character who I believe is actually above Admiral level. I think he's probably Yonko level, and that's Loki. Think about this. Scopper Gaban said that the only character that could defeat him was Shanks. And Shanks is a Yonko. Secondly, he's probably counting himself, Dorian Bragi. So there's a lot of strong characters he's counting that he thinks that cannot defeat Loki. Loki has a legendary devil fruit. Loki is the size of Oz. Like, Loki is just insanely powerful. It looks like they have Future Sight or some insane haki too as well. And honestly, he had a 2.8 billion berry bounty. Like, he had a Yonko level bounty. Blackbeard's bounty when he first became a Yonko was 2.2 billion, and Loki's is 2.8. So I think, or 2.6. Don't quote me on that. So I think Loki is deserving at number 2 strongest character in the series, and he hasn't even shown nothing. So when he does show something, it's definitely going to be proven that he's second strongest on Elbaf. And last but certainly not least is Nika. This Elbaf arc is hyping up the lore of Nika, which the Giants think that Luffy's the sun god Nika. Well, they don't really think that, but they think he resembles that, and they definitely have been hyping him up. Everybody wants to be that, even Loki. And we saw what Luffy did against Kaido. We saw what Luffy did against Kizaru. We saw what Luffy did against the Gorosei. Like, Luffy with his advanced observation haki, his 2 layers of advanced armor haki, his advanced conquerors haki too as well, and his awakened mythical Zoan Nika power. Luffy's only L is his nerfs, like when he runs out of power. If Luffy never ran out of power and stayed in gear 5, Luffy would be number 1 in Elbaf and probably, honestly, arguably probably the strongest in the series. Now, people might say, what about Shanks or about Blackbeard? I think arguably there's an argument for Luffy if he didn't have his nerfs. So I think you gotta put Luffy at number 1 until a villain shows up, like maybe Garling or maybe another Holy Knight that's stronger than Shamrock. I'm not too sure. Right now, I think Luffy at the number 1 spot is a safe spot for him. So this is my top 10 strongest characters in the Elbaf. Put your list in the comment section, and if you disagree with my list, definitely tell me why you disagree with it. But this is an early top 10 strongest. I will update it when I see some fights that go on. And honestly, Loki could surpass Luffy, who knows? Scopper Gaban could go lower than Shamrock, who knows? Zoro could surpass Shamrock and Scopper Gaban. Like Sanji can do some moves in the list as well. Like a lot of things can happen. Summers can go up. This list is not permanent, guys. It can definitely change. But right now, I thought it'd be good to do a list in the beginning of the arc and then maybe look back on it at the end of the arc and see how wrong I was. But this is my list, and if you got a problem with it, guys, debate in the comment section.